Welcome to Texas 10, specifically Texas Troubadours. I'm Melissa.
And what should I be today? I'm Fiddling Steve.
Fiddling Steve. That doesn't sound right. You be what you want to be.
Right.
Okie dokie. He's, kind of clever. But the best news is we do have a fiddler here today. And we are here with Katie Rose Cox and Sophia Johnson. And
better known
as Tiger Alley.
Yeah.
We were in Athens at the Old Fiddlers reunion, and we were listening to the bands, and Katie and Sophia were up there, and I love bluegrass, I love Western swing, I love everything out of Fiddlers Contest.
She's not discriminating.
But Steve and I fell in love with you instantly, and so we were just so excited to have you on our podcast and to hear more about your story, because we think you are one of the most unique duos we've ever seen. So we're excited.
Wow.
Oh, thank you.
Gosh, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
All right, so Tiger Alley is your current project as a duo, but obviously you have a history in music as separate musicians. So let's start and both of you have these amazing stories, right? So let's start with introductions. Katie is on the left, Sophia is on the right. So Katie, you are from?
Well, I was born in El Paso, Texas.
Right. Streets of El Paso,
Yeah.
Marty Robbins.
And then I grew up in Austin. And I lived in Austin. I went through high school. Then I moved.
Okay, we get shout outs to high schools here.
Yeah.
Which high school did you go to?
Austin High.
Austin
Oh,
High,
yeah,
all right.
good. What was your mascot?
It was really weird. We were the Maroons,
All right.
which was a giant ball that was maroon colored.
Go
Maroons.
Maroons.
Very intimidating. Not.
Roll them out.
All right.
Roll them over.
It was a bowl.
Yes, just a fluffy ball. Isn't that bizarre? I don't know the
Yes.
story of it.
You know,
That's so Austin. Keep Austin weird is what I say. They start them young there in Austin. Well, so a native Texan. I love that.
Yeah. But I lived after high school, I lived in Denver, I went to college there, I lived in LA for a minute, and then New York for a while, and then returned to Austin. And by the time I returned, when I left Austin, I only played really classical music. And then through all of my journeying, especially when I went to New York City, I discovered bluegrass music. And I started.
Okay, not a lot of people go to New York City to discover bluegrass music.
Yeah.
Like, go to
That is
Kentucky
an interesting term.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think New York has a strong, vibrant bluegrass world.
That's really interesting.
And it was what really made me feel connected in such a busy city. I would go to this jam that took place every Wednesday in Manhattan, and I met all sorts of people, like Wall Street people. I met like artisty people and musicians, just all walks of life. But every Wednesday we would all go there and we'd play bluegrass together. And this city where I felt very small and very intimidated, it was like connective tissue, and it sparked something in me. And I started playing in a speed metal bluegrass band.
Okay, a speed metal bluegrass band.
It was my doorway. It was my gateway into improvisation and being completely out of my comfort zone. And I won't tell you the name of the band because it has a curse word in the name.
Okay. We're not on TV, but sometimes.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested.
But her students watch, so
Well,
maybe,
that is true.
Yes, I don't think.
Yeah.
Well,
Just, use your imagination with the word, there's some, yes, I don't know. It's a uncle, it starts with a F.
Okay.
It came from a
Gotcha.
South Park tune.
okay.
Perfect.
But
Of
it's
course.
really, that's interesting, because I do think bluegrass is one of the genres that's what people do, is they get together and they just play. And I can see you being intimidated beginning as a classical musician, because as classical musicians, we're trained to read the music, and you don't improvise, you just do whatever the director tells you. So I can see how that would be an interesting jump.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a really interesting story. And your partner here has an equally interesting story about how you got to this. So, Sophia, let's get a little bit of your story.
I was born in Birmingham, England, and I my dad is a musician, he plays banjo, dobro, pedal steel, non-pedal steel, guitar. He's a multi-instrumentalist. And the reason he is super into country music was my grandfather was in the RAF, and my dad spent some of his formative years on a army base in Germany, which had American Forces Network radio. So at a tender age, he heard all this American music, country music, and this was also my dad's name, even though we all call him Stuart. Well, I call him Dad. Everyone calls him Stuart. His actual name is Robert Johnson. And he went into a record store and saw his own name on a record and bought it, and then played like Delta blues and slide guitar, and then eventually progressed to these other instruments. Anyway, so I grew up in Birmingham, thinking that all British children listen to Hank Williams and Bob Wills and Bill Monroe, which I gradually found out was not the case. I told Dad I wanted guitar lessons when I was about 7, which seemed to be cemented by watching the film Back to the Future and seeing Michael J. Fox mime the Chuck Berry Johnny B. Good thing. That seemed to be I remember that strongly. Anyway, my dad was very keen for me to have classical lessons because he was entirely self-taught. So I had classical lessons, and then eventually in my teens, me and my sister and my dad were in a band together, a bluegrass band called the Toy Hearts, and we toured in all over Europe, and we came to America a bunch of times, and eventually I found my way to Austin.
Wow.
Those are two just remarkable stories. So you found your way to Austin. So this one from Birmingham, this Texan who had wandered the country and found bluegrass.
And came back to Texas.
How did you find each other?
Well, we both were aware of each other. I knew Katie was in a band called Shotgun Party, and then I knew she was in a band called the Biscuit Grabbers. And
Hey, Katie, you may have been in the bands with the most creative names I've ever heard. Those are great.
She was in some great bands, and I knew of her because I'd been keeping an eye on the Austin scene and my various trips here, and I finally made I went to one of her gigs. Actually, I believe the first time we met was at the Rattle Inn, which I think Ray Benson used to own, with the Biscuit Grabbers, and I just went up and was like, hey, I want to be your friend. And then, weirdly, Katie did actually know who I was.
Well, I did because I had been on tour through England with a different band called the Maybells that was with Melissa Carper and Jan Bell. And I remember seeing posters of the Toy Hearts, like kind of in all of the public areas. And these posters, you know, Sophia is a very authentic, down-to-earth person, and these posters were amazing because her dad's sitting in a chair like this, and she has her sister and Sophia, and they were wearing like platform high heels and then playing bluegrass music. I'm like, who the heck are these people? And then I'd asked my friend Izzy about it, who was just obsessed with you guys. And I'd been hearing about y'all for a while. And then when you did the residency in Austin, I'm like, Sophia. And I remember that day because we just talked and talked and talked, and then that was it.
It was so hot, and we were standing outside next to you. You were probably trying to leave, packing up your car, and I went and got you, and we were both like sweating, and it felt like we want to be friends.
Yeah.
Like, we knew there was a connection.
Yeah.
So how long ago was that?
That was probably like 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was before I moved here, but I was here. Yeah, it was probably 2013.
Because I remember you decided to move here, and we were going to be in a band together, and we came up with a name, and then I discovered I was pregnant.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, this may take us a little like a curveball in another direction, because I had things to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to segue real quick. So you grew up classical
Yes.
training. Did you call your violin teacher and say, "Hey, I got a job with the Biscuit Grabbers"? Was that the career path they were expecting? Or?
No, well, I think I'm still in touch with my teachers, and they're very proud of me.
Yeah.
I
but
bet they are.
They didn't, I think most of my teachers taught me really good technique and taught me what I need to do to work really hard, and also to perform when I feel nervous and what to kind of how to think about that. But I came into playing the way I do, kind of like piece by piece, learning to improvise and like eat dirt in front of a lot of people a whole lot of times and just keep going somehow. And I really don't know what it was that would keep me going, because it's not an easy process to go through that, to kind of go through that boundary and learn what I need to learn to improvise. And I'm going through that process all the time still, even now, and I'm 50 years old.
Yeah.
So
It takes so much. So I really admire you. So were you a music major when you went to college, or were you thinking you wanted to do something else for a while? And was music always your calling?
I think music ended up, I didn't really know what else to do. I kind of, my family life was sort of upheaval at the time. And so I just pursued classical performance violin at Lamont School of Music in Denver, Colorado, at DU. But I knew I wanted to play music, but I didn't know how I wanted that to manifest. And I figured it out eventually. I would go to jazz jams in Denver, and I don't know what made me do that, because when I think about the circumstance, I really put myself out there. There weren't any other violin players doing that. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no sense of like where to even begin, and I would just get up there and try something. And it makes me sweat just thinking about it. Ooh. But yeah.
All right, so that's her training. Now, you grew up in a household where that was your dad your teacher, or did you have other?
No, I was not, like parents can't teach their children to drive because we had a
I'm living
situation.
proof. Unfortunately, nobody else did either, so be careful.
We'll show you their pictures if you see them in the car next to you.
Oh, no.
No, Dad was very keen that I did classical guitar lessons, which I did, and I did that all through school. I was in this thing called the Birmingham Schools Guitar Ensemble. I then had a little Spanish classical jazz trio that I was in, and then in my late teens, we used to go to this club, the Heart of England Bluegrass Club, and they would bring bluegrass bands over, and Special Consensus. I remember coming over a bunch of times. Greg Cahill was such a great guy and very helpful to us. But me and my sister started going. We definitely brought the age demographic down by about 30 years. But we just really liked the music, and then we sort of instructed Dad that we wanted to start a bluegrass band, not knowing at all really what we were doing. But Hannah could sing and I could play guitar, and then Dad became more important in teaching us about that. But I had the same thing as Katie, that I had played sheet music, and my guitar teacher, he introduced me to Django Reinhardt and Joe Pass, and I had done jazz, but I found improvising absolutely terrifying. And at Guitar Ensemble, we used to do this thing where we'd go around and everybody had to take a solo, and I would lie awake for the whole week thinking about this, and I just hated it so much. But some reason, even though I hated it, I wanted to conquer it and wanted to be able to do it. And through jazz and bluegrass, eventually I found my way to being able to improvise, and somehow.
So I also hear that this music was in your schools, and that was a very important part of your
I
journey
really
as well.
related to what Katie said about that discipline, having that, it being part of, from a young age, the discipline and practice and technique and all of that stuff. Definitely, it was something, and it was really part of as a teenager, my identity was, I'm in the music gang. I had a little rock band, I had my classical guitar, I liked country music, like that. Guitar was everything about my identity, especially in my teenage years. It really, and I went on I did not study music at university, but I knew that's what I wanted to do from a young age.
Well, I think we have in common that we have this classical music foundation first, and then both of us, I think this is what connects us a lot with how we are able to create music and play music, is that we both think about it in a similar way because of our foundation. I didn't really start improvising until my mid-20s, but I draw on all of my classical knowledge all the time.
Right.
And she understands that language really well. And that's a relief, because we all come to music from different directions, and it's fascinating actually when you encounter people that are just come from a totally different method of rules and thinking about it, but then you agree on the same set of rules at the same time, but we come from a very oddly,
It's
very
interesting.
similar.
You're the first group that we've interviewed that can read music. I'm
Yeah,
not
but
kidding.
this is the joke.
musicians, they're all like, no, I
How
can't
do you
read
make a
music.
guitar player turn
Right.
down? Put a sheet of music in front of him.
Right.
Like,
So tell us then how you evolved into songwriting, because you write you have original songs, right?
Yes, yes.
Well, so you guys, for a long time, were parts of bands.
Yeah.
Right?
That's another thing that really unites us both, is that we are both used to being the side person in a band and doing that job as a hired gun. And the Tiger Alley project really gives us a space and opportunity to write our own stuff and be the people in charge instead of taking
Like
the
someone
orders.
else's
Yeah,
music.
yeah.
And so you came to that, a lot of people in the music, teenagers growing up, they see themselves as the front person, and they want that to happen as soon as possible, right? And you come to that a little bit later. So what is it something you always saw, or was it just a happenstance of the two of you that...
Well, I think another thing that, we talk about this a lot, that we're both totally fine with being in a situation where the other person is shining brightly. And it's like a relief, because I've been in all sorts of situations. I don't mind being in the background, and I also don't mind stepping up. And it's fun. It's fun to step up and figure out who I am when have written a song and I'm singing lead. It's different. There's a different set of skills that one needs for that. But it's been a nice collaboration in that we both kind of understand, and we clearly have egos, but they don't seem to get in the way really of our the dynamic of this band. So it's nice.
I did start writing songs at a very young age. I always wrote, but I was never, my first band, there was two other girls that they sang the lead, and then in the Toy Hearts, my sister sang the lead. So I would write a lot, but I wasn't the person singing the songs. And when I eventually moved to Austin, I realized, I'm gonna have to pay a singer if this is gonna carry on. So I kind of, through economic reasons, decided it was a good idea if I develop my own singing voice and take lead. And then then singing my own songs, I was able to develop that a bit more. And then the collaboration with Katie is really nice because I don't always want to be the front person. I love that we share it, and I definitely feel the two of us, we're greater than the sum of our parts, if that's the
That's the right thing.
Is
Right.
that the right expression?
Yes.
We're strong together, instrumentally and vocally.
Okay, I'm going to say this, right? So we listened to y'all in Athens. That was the first time we'd ever heard you. Hadn't heard you on the radio or on Spotify or anything like that.
Really?
Right? Well,
We're going to work on
we're
that. for you.
working on that, right? We're working on that. Okay.
Yeah.
But your voice, to say that, well, okay, I decided
That was gonna be my
economic
question.
reasons.
Yeah.
You've got a gorgeous voice.
So that was going to be my question. Was it just a matter of confidence, or did you
Definitely.
take some vocal lessons?
I took
or,
a couple of vocal lessons, but really what gave me confidence was doing it all the time. And when I moved to Austin, I kind of put myself in musician boot camp. I mean, for a long time, people still make jokes about it now, about how I would do like minimum 30 gigs a month, minimum of like at least one a day. Some days I was doing 2 or 3 gigs. I was playing for anybody that would. I had this sort of rule for myself, like the only reason to say no is if I can't do it or I really don't want to. If the reason to say no is because I'm a bit scared and I think I'll be out of my depth, I have to go and do it. And like Katie, just throw yourself in, keep doing it, and you learn quick. You know, sink or swim. But yeah, definitely I had some feedback at an early age, like it's better if you just play the guitar and don't sing, and I really internalized that for a long time.
They were wrong.
they
They
were
were
wrong.
empirically wrong.
Well, thank you. And but so with more confidence and definitely figuring out about breathing, and like I like everything else, I just learned it on stage.
Yes,
I'm
you have a
sorry,
gorgeous-
world, because you had to listen to it when it wasn't anywhere near as good as it is now, which I still think I need work on everything. But you know,
Well, don't we all? You know?
Yeah.
So when you sit down to write a song, I always this is one of my favorite questions asked. Do you write the words first, or is it usually a tune or a that you've written and you put words to it, or is it a combination?
Well,
How do you approach?
we kind of have different styles, I think. I am more new to songwriting, I would say. Way more new. I am learning about myself with this. It's a very humbling experience. For me, I hear the melody first. Sometimes I'll have like a general idea about like a sort of a subject, or I'll have a couple of words or some sort of sense of lyrics, but I hear the melody first and then I write. Then it kind of comes out of me. Some of them have been very easy, but it's songwriting I find to be, I'm currently just learning so much about myself, and I would say it's not an easy process, but I love doing it. It's so rewarding, but it's uncomfortable growth to get there. But
Do y'all
yeah.
collaborate on songs, or do you typically write your own songs and then
We have collaborated, but I would say mostly we've written our own.
we bring one
Bring it
to
to-
the
right,
other,
right.
and then there's definitely input, but like mostly we have a pretty much fully formed song, and the other one makes it sound like Tiger Alley, because if you know what I mean. But yeah, like.
And
But the songwriting on our record it's either a Katie song or a Sophie song.
Yeah, and we've dabbled in writing tunes together, and maybe there will be more dabbling as time goes on. I feel like I'm growing. I'm trying to get confidence as a songwriter, because I have, Sophia's been writing songs for a long time, and this is definitely a new territory, and I'm just
But it's
you're
kind
trying
of
to.
you've got your best friend
Yeah.
right there going, yeah, you
Yeah,
can do it.
true. Yeah.
Katie's biggest cheerleader.
Yes.
And I am so impressed by her. So I always feel like my songs are an self-indulgent, emotional, like, bleh. Like, this is how I feel, and this is how I'm going to deal with it by writing it into a song. And Katie's songs, she has themes and characters and stories and imagery, and I feel like it's so much more sophisticated than my, I'm angry about this thing. Katie's got a...
There is
Oh, good segue.
there's room in the world for both.
Right.
I will say that I love to write, and I've written a lot in my professional life in a professional capacity, but songwriters amaze me. Because lawyers, when you write an appellate brief, the first rule is briefs shall be brief. That is but that means to us 50 pages, right? To get a point across. And songwriters have the ability to tell a story and get the point across in a couple hundred words.
And to move people.
Right.
Either move us to tears or we're like, yeah, I'm agree with you.
Exactly. And there are different ways to approach it. But just the ability to do that is just phenomenal to me. I marvel at it all the time. And so we spent a good deal of time listening to Sizzling Summer, which is 10 songs, I think. You're right, 10 songs.
11.
10 or 11.
13. I don't remember. I think
It's
it
a
was 13.
double-digit
I think
number.
it's 11. I think it's 10 and an instrumental.
Yes, there you go.
I thought it was 12 and an instrumental.
Oh, I think you've invented a couple of extra songs.
Okay.
Yeah, I do that
Right,
sometimes.
got some in her head, right? So there's more coming.
Yeah,
but,
there's definitely more
But
coming.
anyway, that is your first album, for those of us that still talk about albums.
Albums, yes.
And has songs written by both of you. And it reaffirmed, it's like, okay, you get earworms on the radio sometimes, and that's great, but you listen to the songs and they are stories. They do tell you something. They make you feel different ways for different songs. So let's talk a little bit about some of the songs on the album. First of all, how did you come up with the 10, 12, however many they are? Was it a selection process, or was that all you had?
For me, in my case, that's all I had. I think. Yeah, almost all I had. So.
There was a few more, but mostly we really wanted to write an all original album. So we were writing to make that happen.
So
I think maybe I had a few more, but
Right.
they fell by the
Right,
wayside.
but these were all, like, especially for you who'd been writing for a while, you weren't reaching back to a song you wrote as a teenager.
No.
These
These were for this album.
Yeah, these were for this album.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So tell me, like, Cheap, okay? Tell me about the song Cheap.
Cheap is a cautionary tale of dating a songwriter and being a cheapskate. Because I guess I'm a slow processor of my emotions. I don't always deal with things in the minute, but I will go home and write a song about it eventually. So yeah, it was about that a partner that I had that was. Apparently this is a thing that between couples that money can be a really divide, and your attitude around money can be a big factor in a relationship. And I'm a words first before melody, so I will write down my feelings and that's a good song. I also like songwriting where there's a bit of a sting in the tail. I don't know what it says about me, but I like.
You're scrappy.
It's
You're
like,
scrappy.
It's like a little mini novelist.
Right,
you know, you've got the whole novel in the song.
Well,
You got it
I like
all.
having the last word in that sort of way.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes, if I feel like I didn't get something across in person, which often I don't, I got that British thing of like, oh, I'm not going to have a confrontation, but I will, in a kind of snippy, snipey way, then write it down in a song, and then I don't have to hold on.
You
to
also
it
have the
anyway.
George Bernard Shaw thing. That's right.
And then I can let go of it as well. Then it doesn't bother me anymore because I kind of released it in. I dealt with those emotions, and that's definitely a feature of my songwriting. I try and I continue to try to write from a different perspective other than my own, but I just keep coming
But
back
isn't
there.
I think that's great because it's our personal story, and when you're writing music, that's what it is.
And people
You're
respond
telling your
to
story.
authenticity.
Yes.
That's who I am.
I don't want to say, okay, I'm going to give you a topic, write me a song about it. There's not going to be any feeling. It's got to be something you've experienced. So what's your favorite song that you've written?
Oh boy, I think. I mean, there's a lot of the tunes I like for different reasons, but I think
Eugene.
You like Eugene?
Yeah.
I like that one for the melody, but that one is kind of about, so there's this tune called Eugene, Why You Being So Mean, and it's sort of a flash into sort of past self I had in my 20s living in New York. And
I wish I'd known Wild Katie. I only know Mom Katie, but I've heard the stories. She's admitted to me. I wish I could have seen the speed metal bluegrass band. And,
I'm different. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of dived into the freedom of being in my 20s and being single
in
New York City, and I was wild. I drank too much, and I had, I had crushes on people, and I adventured and traveled. I do not regret it, but there's some things that I am very far away from at this point in my life.
Okay, so this is an odd segue, but I'm going to talk about that period in your life, and I'm going to say, thank God that you didn't end up with an investment banker as a Connecticut mom.
And that you found your way back to Austin.
I'm going to say that, that could have happened, and you'd be sending your kid to violin, lessons and all the rest of it. But you're living an authentic life now. So.
I feel very fortunate for the adventures that I've had and for finding my way back to Austin, Texas. And getting married and having, I married somebody that I knew in middle school and high school.
Oh, we have
a
that
maroon.
in common.
Oh,
it's a maroon. Right?
Maroon.
I married a Brahma.
Yeah.
So now you're in Austin still.
True.
Is your kid going to be a maroon?
I don't know yet.
Oh.
It's possible.
A multi-generational maroon
That would be
family.
amazing.
Yes.
That would be amazing. We'll see. He's currently in middle school now. So he might be meeting his future wife.
Right.
You never know.
You never know. So is he at the same middle school you were at?
No, he's close though.
That's great.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I was wild, and that song is about sort of my pursuit and decision about somebody, and it's kind of a window back into that part of my life.
All right, so we're going to segue here in a second, but I always put this out there, right? Now, I will tell you guys, you're a band now, Tiger Alley. You're not a huge social media presence. Like Taylor Swift has got
I know.
millions times.
Look, we just hit 1,000 followers.
There you go.
There you
Okay.
go.
It's a milestone.
So,
I know what you're talking about.
Right, okay. But Sizzling Summer and Blue Jay, which is a separate single, I think, are both that's all on Spotify. So people go and listen to them on Spotify. I want to, do all of that. But we were talking before off camera, that's not how musicians actually support themselves anymore. People have to go to shows. So follow them, and I'll have you give your social media handles, but follow them, and when they are in your town, go see Tiger Alley. And if you're on a side project or whatnot, go see that band. And we're just adamant about people have to get out of the live music experience is so great, and it adds so much to people's lives, and we just... Austin appreciates that, but I don't know that other places do as much. And so one of our big things is... Especially
smaller venues. There's nothing I love more than to be in a smaller venue where I can get up and close to musicians. And like in Athens, I feel like a rock star. I could go right up to the stage. But I love being able to get up close and personal.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say thank you for doing this because, in a world where now we have technology that both connects us and separates us at the same time, music to me, I'm so grateful every day, and to be able to hear music, and it's a different thing seeing it live. It's a different thing, and it keeps us being human.
Well, and I just think it's so important too for you to take your kids. And get them interested in music. And I know that your son is already playing, and I think that's wonderful. And that's why I said something about schools. It's important to have the arts in schools.
Yeah.
But anyway, I want to move to kind of their style.
Well, let's have them show us their style.
Let's do it.
Okay, all right. So we talked about...
it's bluegrass, but it's kind of a fusion.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would just say real quick that if we're at a bluegrass festival, we can play bluegrass. If we're at a Western Swing Festival, we play Western Swing. If we want to do more rock and roll and Americana, we can also do that.
Do you often go to the speed metal bluegrass? No, you don't do that. But you could.
But, you're giving us some ideas. Yeah.
All right.
We want to hear you play.
So, all right. So, I think you got to get your fiddle, and we'll be back in a moment. All right, we're back, and Tiger Alley has agreed to do us a little house set here, so we're very excited about that. And we're going to start with Goodbye Iron Maiden. So just give us, it's an instrumental, shows your chops on the fiddle, violin, I don't know what you want me to call it, but tell us just briefly about Goodbye Iron Maiden, how that came to be and named.
Yes, well, it was called Goodbye to the Maiden. And it had words, and it was about my experience giving birth to my child, which I had to say goodbye to my inner maiden. But the word, I don't know, just childbirth, there's so much into that, and it was just too much.
It wasn't gory or anything.
No.
It's just kind of emotional.
Yeah, but though gore would be appropriate as part of the cogs in the wheel of that reality. But yeah, no, and so we made it an instrumental, and then Sophia's now husband decided that it needed a better name.
Well,
and
there's a bit at the end which he loves heavy rock and metal music, and he heard it and he was like, "Goodbye to the Maiden, goodbye Iron Maiden."
Yeah.
Then of course it became Goodbye Iron
Yeah,
Maiden. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, it just seemed more appropriate.
That is a great story, and it's a great song,
song.
so let's hear it.
The bit at the end that gets a bit shreddy, you'll probably...
Oops.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta not hit that microphone. Okay.
There you go.
That was amazing. That was great. Okay, and I will say it's doesn't strike me as a song about motherhood.
No.
But I'm not a woman, so
I don't know. There's a lot that goes on.
I would say it would be the childbirth part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
It's an explosion.
Yes.
now that you say that, you're right.
You do
Yeah.
not know.
Well, I watched it twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sophia, watching you play that guitar, just, I'm in awe. I am in awe.
Thank you.
I am trying to learn, and I'm doing this, and watching you just handle that so beautiful. I don't even know how to say it. Just, it was amazing.
Well, thank you.
I
Thank
love
you
it
so much.
And I just also love just the fusion. I almost get like an Irish jig out of that too.
We have
you
a
know?
drummer that calls that the Irish song. I have to go and tell him and say it's the one he thinks Irish.
Yeah, it does. So I love that. Okay, so what do we have next? That was so great.
Okay, so next we're gonna play what is, I guess, a Western swing, or it's a swing tune, and it's one that I wrote. It's called "Holding My Head Up High," and I experienced a breakup, after which somebody wrote a lot of stuff online about me, and I wasn't gonna, get on there and say anything. So it's about, I guess, keeping a dignified silence and holding your head up and saying, I'm not gonna do that.
Until now.
Until now. And then instead just write a really, mean little song about it. And then that's how
it's
you
a
do it.
great big song.
Yeah.
It's not a mean little song. So.
Yeah. So here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I take my pills so that I ain't crazy, and so that I ain't lazy. Out there shooting arrows, letting accusations fly. No matter how you bait me, I'm built tough. You won't break me. Let me tell you, honey, I'm holding my head up high. You've been keeping busy just running down my name. Passing the book, passing the book, and I've been biding my time. Been playing that long game. Will not talk trash about you. We are not the same. 'Cause I take my pills, I ain't crazy. So that I ain't lazy. Out there shooting arrows, letting accusations fly. No matter how you fake me, I'm built tough. You won't break me. Let me tell you, honey, hold my head up high. You can run your big mouth all over this town. Put in lots of effort and your time to tear me down. I ain't nobody's fool. Now you look like a clown. 'Cause when my heart was breaking, you didn't hear a sound. I take my pills, I ain't crazy. So that I ain't lazy. You're out there shooting arrows, letting accusations fly. No matter how you fake me, I'm built tough. You won't break me. Let me tell you, honey, holding my head up I take my pills so that I ain't crazy, so that I ain't lazy. Out there shooting arrows, letting accusations fly. No matter how you bake me, I'm built tough. You won't break me. Let me tell you, honey, I'm holding my head up high.
Awesome.
That was classic.
Just awesome.
Just a classic sound.
Right.
And watch out. I don't know who you are, but she's got a song in her. The other thing I'm going to say is You sound so Texan when you sing.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
I think it's growing up, when you learn to sing, you sort of emulate what you're listening to. And I listen to almost exclusively American singers. And, you know, I never hear anyone sing in an English accent, really. And yeah, I'm not meaning to do it, but it just comes out that way.
Oh, it's so great. It is so beautiful. What a fusion. We've got our British. We've got our country swing. We've got our bluegrass. We've got our shredding. So if you guys want to have a good listen to Tiger Alley.
Thank you so much.
Right. So a couple of things we have to do before we finish. We always do what we call a lightning round. All right. Now these are just quick questions. They're not necessarily about music, but they sort of tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, just first thing that comes into your head.
Okay.
And do you want to start?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tex-Mex or barbecue?
Tex-Mex.
Oh, that was
My
quick.
girls.
Right. Venue that you would die to play in?
Royal Albert Hall.
Carnegie Hall.
You're the second
Ray
Royal
Benson
Albert
said
Hall.
was.
He said the same thing.
You and Ray, we'll book a concert.
We're off one mind.
All right. Cowboy boots or tennis shoes?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I prefer the look of cowboy boots, but my feet scream for tennis shoes.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Best food in Austin after midnight.
I would have said Magnolia Cafe. I don't know if they're open after midnight,
that's a
but
good choice.
if COVID didn't finish off their midnight hours, Magnolia.
My refrigerator.
My house. I'm coming to your house. Magnolia is really good. Beach or the mountains?
Mountains.
Beach.
All right.
Last one.
What?
You get the last
I
one.
get the last one. Okay. Musician that you would most like to meet, living or dead?
You know, we're in Waco, Texas. I really wish I had met Johnny Gimbel
Okay.
before he passed on, honestly.
Django Reinhardt.
All right.
You know, and before we go, if our viewers can see their album cover, it is so great. And so tell us where y'all took that. I love this story.
Well, we were in White Sands, New Mexico. And we go to New Mexico every summer near White Sands in a little village called Cloudcroft. But yeah, we told you this story earlier, but we hired a team of professionals to take our picture and do our makeup. And when we got the photos back, they were fine photos, but we realized it wasn't completely us. So we decided that to force Sophia's fiance at the time, now husband, to take his phone and take our picture. So yeah.
I love that story. So, and it just epitomizes of who you are. I love it. I love it.
Yes. So I'm going to say that you guys are a reality show waiting to happen. I think the combination of your stories and your music and sort of what you're doing right now is just fascinating to me.
You.
You might have an audience of one, but I would watch every episode. So
You have an audience of
I have a feeling that you guys need a reality show as well. I have a sneaking suspicion. There's
things.
you're right.
There's things
Thank you,
from
Ms.
Kansas
Very
From
real.
the crew, yeah.
And I'm going to say to you, Sophia, I am so glad you found your soulmate, because you just need to stop torching the people that are not your soulmate.
And I'm going to say to your soulmate, what's your husband's name?
Jason.
Right.
Jason, you need to be very careful.
Right. Jason
Very
needs to
careful,
stay in line.
because those need to only be love songs.
Right.
Well, my album under my own name, Jason and I have a funny story that we met a long time ago. We only got married this year, but we were together and then we were apart, and there might have been an accidental marriage to somebody else, which was quickly dissolved. But my first album
Reality
is
show, I'm
all
telling you.
songs about Jason, mean songs because he broke my heart, and then now, so he's probably due a nice song. I don't know if I got it in me though.
You do.
Write
You
the
do.
love song for
Right,
Jason.
the love song. You have the voice for it.
Y'all are
It's-
amazing musicians, and
thank you.
just bring, You brought so much joy to me on a day that I needed joy.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for
Right.
having us.
So, and you're on Facebook? You have Instagram accounts?
Yep.
It's all at Tiger Alley?
Tiger Alley Music. I think there's a clothing company.
Okay.
That also,
We're
not them.
We're the music. Tiger Alley Music. That's the website and all the.
All right. Well, there's a
socials.
happy coincidence there. I'm going to tell the Clothers that you need to be their sound on
Yeah.
their commercials. But so go to the at Tiger Alley stuff. Like I said, Spotify them for in your car for your own enjoyment, but particularly for around Austin. But anywhere you can pick up a Tiger Alley concert, go see them and get more of what you just heard.
Yeah. And I will tell you, fun story. I was on a girls' weekend in Dallas, and I was telling my girlfriend, "Oh, we're going to have Tiger Alley on it." And she used to live in the Austin area, and she goes, "Oh my God, I've heard them. They are so great."
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we
Yeah.
are famous.
Yes.
So, all right.
Thank
Well,
you.
I hope you will keep following us here at Texas 10. Listen to music, go to live music, get in your car, travel the back roads. Follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, and on our website, texas10.com.
Like, subscribe, share, do all the social media things, but most of all, tell a friend.
Was he talking about you?
Bye.
And I love this land. Oh, it takes my breath away. From the Palo Duro to the Gulf Coast plain. From the heart of the hill country to the piney wood shade. I love this land. It takes my breath away.